Welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Matt.
And I am Nina.
Today we are looking at part 2 of our article, The Book Clubs of Today. So book clubs are, one kind of club that you can join, but there's many different kinds of clubs about all sorts of different topics. So Nina, have you joined any clubs?
Yes, well, especially in high school, actually. There are many clubs that students can join so that they have extracurricular activities. And I've been to, I think I was in a skateboarding club because back then I liked being cool. I had a vibe. So I wanted to do cool things like skateboarding. I wanted to be a skater chick. And I eventually learned how to go straight and turn with a skateboard. But unfortunately, I can't do any tricks.
You can't ollie or make the board jump off the ground?
Definitely not. I don't think you can imagine me doing that. But I was also in the popular dancing club.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually love dancing, and the girls in the dancing club were actually super popular too, and I love the performances, so I joined. But in the end, I didn't stay for long because they practice during weekends and during their nap time, so I prefer to just chill.
You prefer to be a member of the napping club?
Yeah, that sounded more fun to me.
Okay, well that's an interesting club experience. We're going to learn more about book clubs when we get into today's article after this.
Okay.
Booker runs into Paige at a bookstore.
Hi, Paige. It's a surprise to find you here.
Hi, Booker. I got back into books during COVID-19.
Cool. Are you here to find a new book to read?
No, I joined a book club, and we're meeting here today.
Welcome back to part 2 of the book clubs of today. And now we're going to get into a dialogue. And in this dialogue, Booker runs into Paige at a bookstore. I guess you'll be Booker?
I will be Booker and you can be Paige.
Okay.
But first, let's look at this term, run into. So run into in this case means to encounter or to see someone who you know, but unplanned. You didn't expect to see them, you didn't plan to see them, but you just happened to see them somewhere. You could run into a friend at the supermarket or run into a coworker on your way to the beach.
Okay.
Anywhere you can run into someone. This term run into can also, depending on the use, mean just to run into something.
Like running into a wall.
Right. If someone said, I ran into a wall, they didn't meet the wall by chance. They actually ran into the wall. So you have to listen to the context of how someone is using run into, but most often it will mean to encounter someone by chance.
Yes. Okay. And they ran into each other at the bookstore. A bookstore is a place where you can buy books. So, for example, she went to the bookstore to find a new book to read. Okay.
So, right. So, I'll be Booker. So, let's begin. Hi, Paige. It's a surprise to find you here.
Okay. So, they ran into each other. They didn't expect to see each other there.
So, that's why he said it's a surprise. So, anytime you run into someone, it's a surprise because a surprise is an unexpected event. So, something that happened by chance, something you did not foresee coming. So, because Booker did not plan to see Paige and he didn't expect to see Paige, it was a surprise to see her there.
Yes, and Paige says, Hi, Booker. I got back into books during COVID-19. Okay, because during COVID-19, everyone was staying at home, right? So you had to really find things to do at home, and one of them was obviously books for Paige.
It's interesting we use this term during COVID-19 because what we mean is during the time when the pandemic was very big and ongoing, because of course COVID-19 is still here. So it's not over, but we're just not still having the effects of the things like lockdowns or, trying to stay home as much as possible as we did, during COVID-19.
Yes.
So Booker says, cool, are you here to find a new book to read?
And Paige responds, no, I joined a book club and we're meeting here today. Okay, so here's another public space that a book club can be held at the bookstore. So the word join is a verb and it means to become a part of a group or activity. So for example, he decided to join the soccer team at school.
Okay, so they've seen each other in the bookstore, and I think it's interesting that she's not there to buy a new book. I think Booker even asking, are you here to buy a book? I probably would just assume that someone was in a bookstore because they were buying a book. But it turns out she's not even there to buy a book. She's there for this book club.
But, to be fair, sometimes you can go to a bookstore to just read books and not buy anything, right? So in this case, they are also meeting to discuss a book. And who knows, maybe they will decide on a new book for next time and buy books there.
That's right. I think it's good for the bookstore to have these kinds of events because these people buy books.
Indeed.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more, or we're going to learn more about what Booker and Paige are up to after the break.
Really? It's really quiet in here. How can you talk about the book?
Oh, we don't talk. It's a silent book club. So we just sit together and read.
That's different. Does everyone read the same book?
We can, but we usually don't.
Welcome back. And before the break, we had Booker and he ran into Paige at the bookstore, right? And he assumed that Paige was actually there to buy a book, but she said she was there for a book club meeting. Oh, so it's interesting. Nowadays, people actually meet outside for book club meetings, right?
Not as often as in people's homes as they used to do.
Exactly. So let's find out a little bit more about it.
Okay, so Booker says, really? It's really quiet in here. How can you talk about the book?
Interesting. Okay, so it's one of those bookstores that's kind of like a library, right? You go in, you read your book, so it's respectful to be quiet.
So quiet is an adjective and it means with very little noise. So noise is very low. You can be quiet but speak in a quiet voice. So you can speak quietly, which would be an adverb, but you would still be quiet. So it's not no noise, but it's very little noise.
Okay, and Paige responds, oh, we don't talk. It's a silent book club, so we just sit together and read. That's very interesting because I always thought in book clubs, you're supposed to talk about the book. But in this case, it's a silent book club. So you come together, and just read in silence. So first we have the word silent, which is an adjective. It means when there is no sound or noise. And the noun would be silence. So an example sentence for silent is, the library was silent as everyone was busy reading.
So the difference there between quiet and silent would be that quiet is very little noise, whereas silent means no noise.
Exactly. So this is a silent book club. They do not speak, they just read together. And I'm guessing it's because maybe they are not that social or they are more shy, so they prefer being in silent, but at the same time, you have company to read together.
Right. That reminds me of a different kind of silent meetup that I've heard about called a silent disco.
Oh!
Where instead of actually playing music out loud, people wear headphones.
I love that.
Everyone hears the same music, but when you walk into the room, you'll see people dancing, but you don't hear any music, and it's strange.
I've actually been to one of those in London, and in that silent disco, everyone had headphones, but there were 3 different channels. And the headphones would light up according to the channel. So if you see someone with the green light up, then you would know you're listening to the same song.
I see.
So that was pretty cool for sure.
All right, well, continuing with the book club discussion, Booker says, that's different. Does everyone read the same book?
And Paige responds, we can, but we usually don't. Okay, so since you don't have to discuss the book, then I guess it doesn't really matter which book you're reading.
But do you really need to join a silent book club, or could you just go to a library or bookstore and find a group of people who are reading and sit there and pretend you're in a silent book club? Because if they're not talking about the book, they're not reading the same book, I don't really understand the point of the club.
That does make a lot of sense. But maybe they know the people in the club, so they prefer to do it with someone they know rather than strangers.
Okay, well, I think maybe, if it were myself, maybe I prefer if, on the way to the bookstore, maybe you grab a coffee together, and maybe after you can have a meal. And so it's more of an activity than just sitting with strangers in the bookstore.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, we have learned that book clubs can be in all types of forms, and that's how they did it.
All right, we're going to see some other kinds of book clubs in part 3 when we see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Booker runs into Paige at a bookstore.
Hi, Paige. It's a surprise to find you here.
Hi, Booker. I got back into books during COVID-19.
Cool. Are you here to find a new book to read?
No, I joined a book club, and we're meeting here today.
Really? It's really quiet in here. How can you talk about the book?
Oh, we don't talk. It's a silent book club, so we just sit together and read.
That's different. Does everyone read the same book?
We can, but we usually don't.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 bookstore 名词书局。I went to the bookstore to buy a new novel. 我去书局买了一本新小说。下一个单字 surprise 名词惊喜。My mom had a surprise for me last night. 我妈妈昨晚给我一个惊喜。下一个单字 join 动词加入参加。Ian wants to join the school baseball team. Ian 想加入学校的棒球队。最后一个单字 quiet 形容词安静的。Please be quiet in the library. 在图书馆时请保持安静。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 A runs into B. A 巧遇 B. Run into 指的是偶然遇到。Run 的三态是 run, ran, run。我们来看看这个例句 I ran into Mike in the supermarket. 我在超市巧遇 Mike。下一个文法 get into something 开始参与某事物。课文中的这一句 I got back into books during COVID-19 是用 back 来修饰表达重回重返。 Get 的三态是 get, got, gotten。我们来看看这个例句。I got back into dancing after college. 大学毕业后，我重新开始跳舞了。最后一个文法 ，How can 加主词加动词，你或者是谁要怎么做某件事情啊？用来询问事情发生的可能性。我们来看看这个例句。How can you have 2 jobs at the same time? 你要怎么同时拥有2份工作啊？以上就是这一课的重点单词跟文法，我们下一课再见喽，拜拜。
Here's how to play. The host will be holding 3 cards. Each card will have 2 sentences containing a secret vocabulary word or phrase that has been replaced by the word bear. The host will read the sentences out loud for the contestants to guess. Whoever guesses first gets a point. The person with the most points wins. And you can play along too.
Hey everyone, I'm Carolyn.
I'm Matt.
I'm Stephen.
Okay, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get started. The first one is an adjective and it's one word. Bob was an bare child, but now he barely leaves his room. I like spending my weekends being bare, like exercising.
Active.
Yes!
Oh.
I'll read the sentences with the word. Bob was an active child, but now he barely leaves his room. I like spending my weekends being active, like exercising.
Okay. I don't know why I couldn't get that. So.
Second one. It's a noun and it's one word. I go to the bear twice a week to keep in shape. The local bear offers many kinds of workout plans.
Gym.
I heard Stephen first. Okay. I go to the gym twice a week to keep in shape. The local gym offers many kinds of workout plans.
Which is short for gymnasium.
Should have said that answer.
I know, gymnasium. You would have gotten it.
If it was gymnasium. Okay, tiebreaker. It's a phrase, it's 2 words. Instant coffee is made by bearing powder, bear water. You can't bear water, bear oil.
Mixed with.
Yes, very good.
Oh, wow.
That was tricky, I thought.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll read the sentences with the words.
okay.
Instant coffee is made by mixing powder with water. You can't mix water with oil. Okay, so
Good
Matt
job, Matt.
is our winner. Wow.
Good job.